Hello everyone. Today's book is fantastic. It's 3 novellas dealing with one subject, and each of these stories is different. They're all kind of weird in a way, but they're all very, very fantastic. And I was really happy when I received this book, and it more than lived up to its expectations. And I can't wait to tell you about it. But first, as always, I want to remind you that I have books for sale. If you see and want to read any of the books you see over there, feel free to click the link in the description. I would love for you to do that. All right, let's get started. All right, so the book we're going to be talking about today is called Confirmed Sightings. This is 3 very good novellas, all packed into one book. And I want to say right off the bat that any of these novellas by themselves would have been worth the purchase. But you are getting an awesome deal because you get all 3 in one volume for a very low price. And it's coming out on June 1st. So just about a week away or somewhere in there. And you can pre-order it by clicking the link to Amazon in the description below. But all 3 of these novellas have something for almost everybody. They're all fantastic. They all deal with the subject of monsters and cryptids. And I think you will enjoy it as much as I did, because they're all also vastly different. The thing they have in common, though, is this creature called the Piazza. That's the running theme that is included in each of these stories. However, like I said, each of these stories is different. They're told from a different perspective, and none of them are conventional. Trust me when I say they are not what you are going to expect when you first look into this book. And so the first story we have is called, the first story we have is called A Piazza for Christmas by Bridget D. Brave. Yes, I got some notes down here so I don't mess anything up. This was the perfect way to start out this trilogy of horror stories, because this is told from the perspective of a young lady's online journal, blog type of thing. So it's epistolatory, I guess you can say. But it works really well because basically she's doing some community service and she accidentally unleashes this creature, this mythological, legendary, eldritch-like god creature. And because she released him, they are now connected. However, this is about her relationship with this creature. She believes she is in love with this thing, and that this thing is in love with her. And throughout this these blog posts, we are going to see how this relationship came about, how it works between monster and human. And the thing is about it, this is quite a humorous story most of the way through, because everywhere she takes this thing, whether it's to a parade in her town, whether it's to go meet her parents for the first time, everywhere she goes, this thing leaves a path of destruction and bloodshed in its wake. But she excuses it all the time by saying things like, well, he's not from around here. He doesn't understand humans or our culture. He just has to get used to it. You got to forgive him, because if you went to a strange country and broke some cultural rule, you'd want them to forgive you. You know, it's kind of one of those, she's making excuses for all these horrible things that he's done. Because they live together, he has certain requirements as a creature of the eternal blackness, I guess, including eating habits that are going to be very disgusting. Sleeping habits, they don't have a bed. They kind of have this nest they make out of really disgusting material, because she's trying to make him feel at home there in her little world. However, things keep escalating out of control. And by the time she realizes that she was all wrong about him, now it's too late, because she's the one that released him. They are connected, and she can really do nothing about it. All this time she thought she had a choice, but she does not. And when it comes time where she's realizing she needs to get away, she can't. And things become creepier and creepier toward the end, until we find out what this monster's ultimate goal is. And it will concern her, but this creature does not care about humans at all. It just took her way too long to find out. So while it is a humorous story, and there are sections that will just make you laugh, it does get creepy near the end when we find out she is just trapped. And great way to start it out. I love that kind of format. I love that kind of story writing, the epistolatory. We read it through, you know, somebody's blog, somebody's journal, diaries, things like that. I know not a lot of people are fans, but this one is so well written you won't mind at all. It is fantastic and great way to start out the book. The second story is called eyeofmoth.exe by P.L. McMillan. I know a lot of people that like horror also love their sci-fi. This is the best of both worlds. This is probably the longest novella in the book, but it's just very epic in its scope. And even though it's not a full-blown science fiction story, it has enough sci-fi stuff for people who like that and enough horror stuff for people that like that. And if you're like a lot of people and you both of them combined, this is a story for you. Because this is about a crew that receives a strange final message from a big space station, along with a code that they have to decipher. And then they go incommunicado. So this crew goes to this big space station to find out what went on. And as they're making their way through, they are going to discover things. And basically this story is about a Mothman. And this Mothman is actually on the ship. Now there are people from this station that are still alive, but they are not the same. Something has gone horribly wrong, something is not right, and they have to find out what it is. And by the time they get so far into the ship and realize they need to get back to their own craft and get away from there, well, the Mothman makes an appearance, and in those claustrophobic hallways and underneath the tunnels where they're trying to escape, he's giving chase. There are body parts everywhere. There's blood flying all over the place. And once they find out what that code was that this ship had sent initially before they shut off communication, when they figure out that code, it is going to change everything. This is a very, very interesting, scary, tense story. I really loved it, because it just gets you into the action. And once you're on that big space station with this crew, oh man, everything just starts going all to hell, and there's nothing they can do about it at first. So the question is, are they going to be able to escape? What is this code? How is that going to affect them once they read the interpretation of this code? And in the meantime, you have all these great characters, and even though it's just a novella, this author does a great job of giving backstories to all these characters as well. So you really get invested in their story arcs and everything as the story going along, which makes the deaths even more horrific, I think, because you care about them now, you know? This was an excellent story, and I think you'll absolutely enjoy it. And last, we have Once Upon a Time in Turu by Ryan Marie Ketterer. This one I absolutely loved. It's part folk horror, part fantasy, part horror. And it's a murder mystery. But here's the thing, this town called Turu, all the inhabitants of this town are cryptids, are monsters. And this one has the most variety of cryptids in this whole book. There are all kinds of cryptids living in this town. They go about their lives almost like us humans do. There's a rich section of town, there's a poor section of town, there are gangs, there are pawn shops and gambling halls. You know, they got all the things that humans have, but they're just all cryptids. And you're going to find all kinds of cryptids in here. First of all, the policewoman who's investigating this murder, she is known as a police foot because she is a Bigfoot. And there's also jackalopes, there are chupacabras, there are Jersey devils, there are Mothmen, there are mare women that run like the local bar and pub and you know, nighttime establishments kind of places. And there's also a werewolf involved, and werewolves are not very welcome in this town because in their human form they are prey to all these other horrible creatures. But once a month during the full moon, they become the most powerful creature in that town. So they're not really accepted, but once a month you never know when a werewolf's going to show up and just cause hell. And there's also the piazza, of course. But what I really like is that we're in a town with nothing but these supernatural beings that humans don't actually believe in real life. And yet, even amongst all these cryptids, most people there do not believe in the myth of the piazza. Like, for them, that's too much. A Jersey Devil saying, oh, there can't be any of these creatures, that's just crazy. Kind of like we would when we talk about the Jersey Devil or Chupacabra or something like that. And I really like that take on it. But we are going to figure out, and this mystery is really good, by the way. You will not know who did it or how it happened until the very end. But there's really a story about all these different creatures in this town, how each one might have been involved in the murder that took place that this Bigfoot policewoman is trying to investigate. And it's just wonderful. It's got that fantastical kind of quality to it when you realize you're in this town. They're full of cryptids, and they act and talk just like us, and we're not aware of them, and they don't believe in certain creatures just like we wouldn't believe in them. I absolutely love this story. It was fantastic, and I would spend time in there if it was longer, a full-length novel even, because I just dug it. And like I said, the mystery will be solved, but you'll be guessing right up until the very end. So it's very effective, and it does get very bloody. It's going to get bloody. Oh yeah, trust me on that. And so there you have, all three of these novellas are in one single package. An awesome, awesome deal. Like I said, each one alone would have been worth the price, but you can get them all together. And you can do that at June 1st. The pre-order link is in the description below. Go ahead and pre-order this one. Trust me, you do not want to miss out on it. I absolutely loved it and highly recommend it. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time, spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.